Greetings and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today we are back on the Harrison. We are going to carry on with where we left off in the last episode. And what I've done in between is I've given the end here a quick wipe down with a bit of degreaser, a bit of brake cleaner. It's not its best, but it'll do for now. So let's dive in and carry on once we finish the cup of tea, of course. Right, so we'll take these handles off now. I didn't show in the last video. To get these off, there's a grub screw on the side, just undo it. I might have to pry it out, but they will just slide out. Now in there, usually, there's a grub screw and a spring, and at the bottom, so you've got to be really careful, there's a little ball bearing that sits in 3 slots. I got mine out by using a magnet, but I didn't do these up last time, so I didn't put any of that in. To get the handle off, there's a grub screw on the top in the middle that clamps down onto the pin that goes through. I've taken the grub screw out because I've given it a clean, but I'll knock the pin out. Now you'll notice the little divot on the top for the little grub screw. There's a line on the end of my pin that lines up to the grub screw spot where you screw it down. The handle comes off. Inside there's a circlip, and that is a pain to get out off the central shaft. And then on the very end there's a little grub screw, and then that will come off. And that's it for the top, well, for the handles. And then just these 6 screws to take out, and then the lid comes off. Once the screws are out, the lid comes off. For me to access what I'm trying to get to, you have to remove this little guard if yours has it. You gotta be super careful because this could drop in really easy. So we need to get this pin out that's in here. I don't know how we're getting that one out. So we get the clutch apart. Luckily, because I've already just put this together, it will come apart easy. I say that. Cool, that was difficult. Luckily, I don't have to take the whole thing apart this time, so we've just taken the spring and the nut off. Now I've got some springs to put on afterwards, so we need to take this pin out here and make a new one. So we're just trying to get this pin out here, and this is the pin. We've started knocking it out from the other side when we had it rotated round, but obviously now it won't rotate round at all in either direction. But what I can say is I am struggling to get this out. So I'm having to put these on here, hold it as tight as possible, and then give it a little wiggle. And will it move? Oh, it's proper gone tight now. I will carry on, and hopefully I'll get this thing out by the time it goes midnight. Hey, I think we might be there. I think we might be there. Oh, it's gone tight again. Now I'll just turn the camera on. Oh, it's not moving now, look. Definitely came out a lot more then. Hey! Finally! Oh my goodness, that is bent. I've actually straightened that. Don't know if you can see it. Pick that up on the camera. It is bent. It's curved there. I've got some 1/4 inch silver steel, and that's what we're going to make the new one out of. Right, so I've got the new pin, and I've just put some centre pops on it so it'll hold it in, because these things are a little bit worn, the centre pops should make it hold in place when it's spinning. So we'll get this in. And I think the ones that were in it, they look just like normal mild steel pins. Now that's not going anywhere. That is tight. Right, we got the one inside done, so we'll get this one done. Obviously that's the new one. And that is the old one. So I've gone a little bit longer this time. Yeah, that's better. If you look at the old one, you can see that. The old one literally only just catches on that edge. I've made a slightly longer one. So that sits in there. Bit more, yeah, bit more. Now what I have got to go on here are some little springs. Now this should quieten it down from making that awful noise. That's the plan. And if that doesn't work, we're going to have to, I think, move the holes. Oh, this is going to be difficult. Right, so I've got all this back together. We've got the springs in there, and we've still got a little bit of noise, but hopefully it won't be too bad once we're up and running. The only thing I could do, I don't know if we can get these plates, I'll have to have a look, and if we can't, the only thing I'm considering doing is machining the holes a little bit further around so they're a bit tighter. Now I've just got to put all the top back on, and we'll put the handles on, and then I'll give it a try again. But with those straightened pins, it should work a lot better. I've got lid on. Now it's time to put this handle on. When I had it set before, I had it that way, so we had a little bit of play in the handle. You don't want it to be too tight, that seems alright. On this one, you need to lift this central spigot up so you can put the circlip on. Get that grub screw screwed up so it can't drop down. There we go, that's in. Now the handle. Till it's flush on each side at the top, and then a little tiny grub screw. So we'll knock that one out, and then we'll put this one into gear. So it should be in the 409. So that means it needs to be, the handle, this hole needs to be lined up with the divot at that side. Which says somewhere there. So we'll put that one in the middle. Takes a bit of playing around, this does. Right, that should be on that 639. So then we line the hole up with the divot again. We should be there. We'll do the grub screw up on the side. Got a little ball bearing that goes in the hole. Then the spring. and then the little grub screw to hold it in place. See if you can get it in there. Come on. There we go. Just turn it a little bit more. There we go. Right, we'll do the other one now. And the spring. Right, so we'll now put this end back on, which is only held in with, surprisingly, 3 bolts. So one here, one there, and one down there. That had to happen, didn't it? Got this cover to go back on, which is the clutch plate cover. Now, I've only got 1 screw for this. So we've got it back together now, so we'll give it a quick test and see if it sounds any better. Which it should do. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Right, there we go, she's running. Spinning up. That's 639 RPM. So we'll engage the clutch, put the brake on. Wow. A lot more quieter. We'll try at 1000 RPM. That is much quieter. Much quieter. The only noise I can hear is the oil splashing up on the top of the cover. I don't know if it's going to pick that up on the camera or not. Super impressed. So the clutch works. It sounds miles better than it did before, especially now I've put the springs on between the clutch plates. It's really quietened it down and it's not making a hideous noise anymore. The other thing that I did fix, which I didn't show in the video, was I managed to fix the forward and reverse feed. If you remember, I could hear it slightly grinding, and what it was the selector fork, the gear was just catching at the back of it, and what I found was the fork, the gear selecting fork, the grub screw had slightly come undone and it had slowly worked its way forward. So with a bit of persuasion and getting in a really tight spot, because it is at the bottom of the gearbox, I managed to push it back to where it should be, tighten the grub screw back up. It's working fine. Now all I've got left to do is tidy up. So with that, if you like what you've seen in the video, please do click the like button, and that will help it get round YouTube a bit further. And if you haven't already, please do hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and you'll be notified when we next release a video. Stay safe. Laters.